everybody, it's Chris from the Evermore YouTube channel, and we're back with a post-match review, and a fantastic post-match review today. Newcastle United returned from international break, needing a win, a much-needed win, second win of the season, and by how they got it, smashing Fulham 4-1 today with a dominant performance. Going to get stuck into it all in a second, just talk about the highlights, really, and some of the key moments that stood out in the game. Just before we do a little bit of housekeeping, if you haven't already, please click that like and subscribe button. We'd love you to come and join us. We're on about 1843 subscribers, I think, at the moment now. So we're getting close to 1900. Please continue to click that button. All free content in this. We don't charge anybody. Just love talking about the club, keeping you guys entertained on those moments when there's nothing on the TV and you want to hear about Newcastle United. So hit the button and come and join us. So let's get stuck in then. So let's have a look at the lineup and how we started the game. A couple of surprising changes, really. I think we all expected Sven Botman to come back in to deal with the physicality of Alexander Mitrovic, and he did do that. But surprisingly, Target dropped out for Dan Burn, so we had Shaw, Botman and Burn all playing at the back, and Burn was kind of playing at left back stroke centre half. Possibly this was to deal with Mitrovic in case he drifted either side, and just give you that that aerial prowess as well, with those two either side of each other for set pieces. Obviously worked very well for Eddie Howe, which we'll talk about more in a second. But midfield, Sean Longstaff came in alongside Joe Willock and Bruno, so Joe Linton had a spot on the bench today, very unlike Joe Linton, but I think maybe Eddie Howe was managing the squad the best that he can, because we've got a lot of games coming up before this World Cup kicks off in November. So we need to make sure we kind of rotate the squad as best we can. Obviously, the front three was again a surprise there, with Jacob Murphy coming in, the scarecrow as I call him, if only had a brain. Jacob Murphy coming in alongside Miguel Almiron, and thank God Callum Wilson was back, or God knows who we would have had up front. You can see from the bench there as well, we had Elliot Anderson back. Chris Wood shook off his hip injury, or his rib injury, sorry, on national duty, and Fraser was on the bench as well. So we had a fairly strong bench with the likes of Joe Linton, Anderson and Fraser to come off and potentially do some damage. So obviously the game kicked off, and we really looked like we were at it, to be honest with you. I think we had a chance really early on. I think Dan Burn ventured forward, and I think Wilson had a shot that kind of hit Leno, who had a great game, by the way, and hit the post. And we really looked like we were up for this game. Then the whole game changed, really, probably about 8 minutes in. So Sean Longstaff goes for a challenge with Chalobah, and it's a horrible challenge, to be fair. He's off the ground. He's over the ball. He smashes into Longstaff, who spins and yelps. Could easily be a breaker. Referee at first glance gives him a yellow card, and then obviously someone's in his ear and says you need to go and check that, which is VAR, and we're probably all thinking, oh Jesus, VAR's going to screw us again. But this time it didn't screw us. The referee went and had a look at the challenge, and he changed that yellow card to a red card, which I think was rightly so. Again, it was a horrible challenge. The whole point of VAR really is to stop these kind of challenges from happening. People do them in the heat of the moment, and that Chalobah's not a malicious player, but it was a really reckless challenge. And I think the more that VAR get those decisions right, the less chance you'll see of those tackles coming in, especially so early on in the game. Yes, you've got to put your name on somebody. You've got to make sure he knows you're there. But, I mean, Chalobah's played a lot of games for Chelsea as well. I know he's still a relatively young player, but it's a stupid challenge to do for Fulham. And I'm sure the Fulham fans were devastated to see that he made it, and it put them right up against it. Sometimes it's really hard to play against 10 men, but Newcastle United proved today that it really, really wasn't. So shortly after that, we take the lead on 11 minutes. It's that man again. Header comes across the box, I think from Joe Willock. Looks like it may be sneaking in, but Callum Wilson does what Callum Wilson does, and just makes sure and flicks a foot out and studs it in the back of the net. And he's got his third goal this season. It's great to see him back. He didn't look like he missed a beat, to be fair. He looked sharp. He looked like he was up for it. He was, he was devastated, I think, when he got took off towards the end as well, because he wanted more goals. But yeah, it was great to see Callum Wilson back, especially with Isak being out for a couple of weeks. But we're going to have to wrap him in cotton wool, because bloody hell, we're going to need him in the upcoming games. So moving on a little bit after that, Fulham, again, terrible news for Fulham, really. Mark talked about this on Evermore this Wednesday. He pulled up a picture of Mitrovic having he had a big ice pack on his ankle. And then, lo and behold, about half an hour in, 37 minutes in or something like that, Mitrovic goes down, time to go, off he goes. And this was just shortly after Miguel Almiron had scored probably the best goal he's ever scored for Newcastle United. Ball over the top from Bruno, beautiful outside of the foot, left volley, top corner, we're 2-0 up. They're down to 10 men, and then they lose their star striker. So Fulham must have been thinking this is not our day at all. Again, just before half-time, we're pressing them, we're all over them. They haven't really got anything to offer. Dan James has got that pace, but he's having more of an eye back than he is forward. And Fulham were probably screaming for half time. Just before half time, again, the worst thing that could happen to them. Bit of a scramble, and Sean Longstaff bops it in for 3-0. His first goal in 14 months. Great to see from Sean. I thought he played really, really well today. He gets a lot of shit, but you know what? I thought he put in a great shift, and he looked really composed today. And he picked himself up well after that really bad challenge. So we went in half time, and we'll come back out, and again we'll just all over them. To be honest with you, Miggy was buzzing around. He was looking up for it. Wilson was sharp. Bruno was looking good. The defense was solid. Pope had very little to do, and then on the 57th minute, ball comes across the box, great bit of play, and Almiron smashes it in the back of the net again with his left foot, but great finish again, and he makes it 4-0. Could have been easily 5-6-7. To be fair, Leno played really well. Miggy had another shot we thought was for his hat-trick. Great finish as well, but again, he's just a bit too eager, ran forward. Fulham go up to the run and get a consolation goal as well by Deco Diva Reed. Just caught me out in the match preview, tried to catch me out on the review as well. Just had a really just a little bit of a nothing goal for a consolation, but I mean it should have been probably 6 or 7-1. I was listening to John Anderson a little bit on BBC Newcastle. He saying decision making could be a bit better. That's John probably being a little bit harsh, I think, to be fair on the lads. We were in the dominancy today. There was no way that Fulham were going to win that game. I think, to be fair, even if they kept 11 men, I think we would have won that game. I think we wanted it more. We were hungry. I think we implemented our game really well. Everyone seemed to know what they were doing. The shape was good. The back line was strong. The midfield was industrious. And then with Wilson up front, and Miggy looked good today. He had one of his good games where the decisions he made were correct. He's unlucky not to go home with a match ball, which you'd never thought you'd say about Miguel Almiron. We started making some subs towards the back end of the game because we were so dominant. So Wilson was off, Bruno was off, Trippier was off. And it was great to see, because you don't want those players picking up knocks in games like this, especially when the team's getting a bit frustrated because they're not getting anything going for them in Fulham, and they could have put in a late tackle or caused an injury to one of these star players. Anderson came on, he looked busy again. He got on the ball, he tried to make things happen. He had a lot of space. He looks hungry, he looks confident, he's not scared to run at players. And I just think there's more and more to come from that lad. I really, really do. Overall, just a really dominant performance. I think using the squad well as well in this game, but it's one of them games that you very rarely get in the Premier League where you're just not really pressed. Like I said, you go against 10 men sometimes, and they're so frustrating. They sit behind the ball, they're compact, they don't give you space. But Fulham weren't like that. We played through the lines, we found space, we pulled them apart, passes went the way we wanted them to do. The movement was good. I mean, even Jacob Murphy looked half decent today. I mean, there was some passes he did. I think he had a 1-2 with Joe Willock, and Joe Willock's looking at him and he hits it over there. And Joe Willock must be thinking, what the fuck are you doing? I haven't even moved yet. But that's just Jacob Murphy for you. But no, I'm not going to dig him out too much. He did play well today. Yeah, he ran them ragged. I think they had Kevin and Barber, who was at Newcastle once upon a time, and we were all good when he went to Wolfsburg and played well, but he got turned inside out in the first 20 minutes today, and he kind of recovered for about 10, 12 minutes after that, but pretty much all game he was run ragged, by Miggy, by Willock, by whoever else was on that side, really. Really confident performance. I'm sure Eddie Howe was really thrilled with that. I think I did hear a little bit of him saying that he thought everybody played really well and implemented the game plan well, which is just what I said there before. So this is a great win for us. It puts us up to 7th in the league, which is fantastic. As I said, I think on the preview, 1 or 2 wins this stage of the season can take you Champions League positions, really. So we're still really early on in the season. I know some of us have got a little bit wound up about the draws and the fact we can't win games, but just putting into retrospect, I think we're on 11 points now. Last season, it took us till the 27th of December to get 11 points. And granted, I know, it was an absolute car crash last season before the takeover happened, which is nearly at its year anniversary. Which, as I said, we're going to have a special show this Wednesday. Me and PK are going to be joined by a special guest to talk all things takeover. So make sure you come and join us at 7 p.m. for that. But so it does put things in perspective. This is progress as a squad. Yes, there's still some areas of the squad that need to be sharpened up. But I think when Miggy plays like that today against a team like that away from home, that's kind of the level that we expect Miggy to really go at teams, to have that space and have that quality, show that quality. So it was really good. Obviously, we're still missing Max. He didn't quite know what's going on with that one. Some people are getting a little bit concerned about this. I don't know whether it's a more serious injury than people are giving it credit for, but perhaps we're just saving him for that big home game against Brentford next time out at St James's Park. War Flags will be there in attendance. I've already seen them tinkering away something, regarding the takeover. So I think we're in for a special treat against Brentford. The guys always smashed out the park. I think that was missing in the Bournemouth game. I think we talked about that, given the aftermath of what had come before. The game, and with the Queen and everything. I think it was right for War Flags to not do anything. I totally understood that decision, but I really think it took the fizz out of the atmosphere at St James's, even for the players. And I think that's why we had such a flat performance against Bournemouth. And possibly we could have went away the international break with another win, But hey, we've got it today. Let's not cry over spilt milk that's gone. 4-1, great result. Fulham were, sitting in 6 going into this game. So, there weren't no mugs. They've played well this season. They played well against big teams like Liverpool as well. And we handed them their arse today. They couldn't get anywhere near us. Yes, they'll say the red card changed the game, but even that short 5 minutes beforehand, we were straight through them like a knife through butter. So I think we would have broken them down regardless of the red card, but there's no doubt that it did probably help the game swing in our favour. But brilliant performance from the lads. Man of the match for me, Miguel Almiron. I've got to give it to him. Probably should have got a hat-trick. Busy, and industrious. Made smart decisions today, actually. Can't really begrudge Mickey too much today. Can't slack him off too much. I thought he was fantastic. He was making the right runs. He was being positive. He was making himself available. Really composed as well, passing back to Trippier and inside as well. Took his goal superbly well. That's another contender for goal of the month, much like Maxi won the other month as well, and probably the best goal I think Mickey's ever scored for us. So really good that. Let's hope he can build on that against Brentford at home. Because we've got some real key games coming. I think there's about 8 games before the World Cup comes along. We really need to get as many points as humanly possible. But if we keep playing like that, I don't think wins will be too far away, and we'll keep climbing up that table. So that's us done for this post-match review. Hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned at the start, if you haven't already, please smash the button, like and subscribe. Come and join us. Help us get to the 1900 and eventually to the 2000 milestone. It's been a brilliant journey for us. We've kind of grown along with the takeover. We started Evermore in I think it was December. I think it was actually. So we're not even a year old yet, and we're sitting on about 1,843 subscribers. So that's incredible, and much love to everybody who's clicked that button. But we've got loads more content to bring. It's all free. So make sure you join us. Me and Mark will be back on Monday with another What's Going On, just to chew through the fat of everything that's kicking off in the news, and just some little tidbit stories, a little bit of banter here and there as well. And as I mentioned, make sure you check me and PK out on Wednesday with our special guest for the anniversary of the takeover. It's definitely one not to miss. This is Chris signing off. Let's keep supporting that team of McCoy United. Brilliant win. Enjoy it wherever you are, Magpies. Get a beer in and bring on Brentford next week. See you later.